Morning, everybody. How we doing? Sorry, a bit late. Morning. Rushing around doing stuff. Morning, Christian, Amy, Peter, Outro, Kennelly, Ian, Virginia, XRApp.news. Good morning, Harold, Neo, Gregors, Baggy, Danny, Julian. Lots of names this morning. Morning, Sarah. How we doing? Exciting morning. Lots of news overnight. Morning, Jerry. So let's whiz into the news to start with. We had quite a bit of overnight news today. So today is obviously Tuesday. We had the Australian dollar cash rate, which came out as expected. I was kind of half expecting an increase on this to 4.35 today, but we didn't get it. So 4.1 for the Aussie. Australian dollar, not a huge reaction. We've obviously dropped because they didn't increase the interest rates, but not a big reaction at all. You can see from the ADRs, not a lot of movement off of it. So a few hours are down, but nothing particularly dramatic there. So that was the Aussie rate. So business as usual there. If you look at the fundamentals for the Aussie, they have still got massive interest rates. Inflation, 6%. The reason they haven't increased it is because it's coming down at -1, but that will pop back up the same as the others will or are, based on obviously inflation goes down in cycles and waves like that. So I think that's a mistake, but we'll see. So we had that, and then we've had the Swiss inflation figure, -0.1. Not what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a bit of a positive on that. So that means that the decision they made last week on the interest rates, or the week before last on the interest rates, by not increasing them and remaining at 1.75 is probably the right decision. Inflation is actually coming down at a decent rate. So that is negative for the Swiss franc, but not that negative. So we'll see what happens. So we can see with the Swissy this morning, we've had a little bit of a pop. So all the Swiss franc pairs have weakened a little, but again, nothing dramatic. So not an awful lot of movement. It's a big spike. Obviously, it's a new spike, but doesn't mean it's going to maintain that direction after the news is completed. So we will see what they make of that today. We've got the JOLTS job openings this afternoon at 3:30. That's it. It's a bank holiday today in Germany. It's a little bit weird, the bank holidays in Germany, because the banks are still open, which is weird. German banks will be closed in observance of German Unity Day. However, the DAX still trades. It's a weird one. We'll see what happens, but I don't think we're going to get a lot of movement off the DAX this morning. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think we'll probably find the open is very lackluster. So you never know. We'll see what happens. We've got 5 minutes to the open. So as you can see, pre-market on the DAX is just completing a gap fill, but it's not moved very much at all. So we'll see. I've never understood these bank holidays in Germany because it does say the banks are closed. However, the banks trade the stock market, and yet the stock market seems to still be open. Normally, like in America, when we have a bank holiday in America, the New York Stock Exchange doesn't open. In Germany, it does. Go figure. So, yeah, we'll see. Whether or not it moves will be another thing. So that's all we've got news-wise today. We've had all the news this morning, the main news anyway. JOLTS is a very hit-and-miss one. We'll see what happens there. But New Zealand dollar cash rate tomorrow. So the interest rates for the New Zealand dollar tomorrow as well, overnight. So we'll see what happens at the open. So if the DAX does move today, we are down at the previous month's lows, which was this double bottom reversal. So if it drops down, there's not going to be a lot of volatility today. So if it does get down to that low, we're definitely going to find some bounces there, because there's not going to be enough traders to push through that area, and there will definitely be limit orders sitting at that level. So if we do get down today, it's not particularly far. If you look at where ADR is, yeah, ADR is all the way down there. So we're only looking for like tiny little move to the downside there. If we can get down there, that'll be a good long bounce to take. Upside, there's no way on earth it's getting anywhere near the previous high. That's 175 ADR away, so not going to happen today. But there you go. So we'll see what happens with the DAX at the open. I'm not particularly excited about this morning's open, but we will see. The banks are closed for public. They're closed for public, but they're still open for trading internally, I guess. Yeah, doesn't make sense. Morning, Evans. Morning, Andrew. Morning, John. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Day Trader FX. Morning, Astro. Altro even. Has there been any news on my Forex funds? No, they're bust. They've gone. They've disappeared. The guy's on the run. It's all starting to fall apart. You know, it's becoming clear that a lot of these prop firms have been ripping everybody, not ripping everybody off, but you know, there's always ways and means around everything. Yeah, so they can take out the vast majority, but some people will always slip through the nets, won't they? So, but yeah, I'm staying clear of prop for the moment. Just using my own capital until it's sorted out, really, until we get an indication. I think it's either going to blow over. What you'll probably find is it will blow over probably around about 60, 70% or something of the prop firms will vanish, because they'll all go bankrupt because nobody's buying prop anymore. Blimey, there's a bit of volatility this morning. And then we'll basically be left with a handful of prop that are doing it right. So I think that's probably what will happen, but I'm going to wait and see what happens. What am I doing? Trying to look at my log. Experts. Yeah, so pre-market range is too tight today. Not trading those. These pre-market ranges are tiny. You can see 190. Minimum I'm looking for is 10% of average daily range as a minimum. Otherwise, it's very easy to get whipsawed. So not trading the pre-market today. I'll wait for the market to go in, the 5-minute open, and then trade that. That's going to be big enough to trade. Still not particularly volatile, so we'll see what happens. But I'll give that 5 minutes, and then we'll have a look at that. Right, so ADRs today. RSIs, there's a lot of RSIs today as well. So we'll go through the ADRs. Aussie dollar Swiss, first one this morning. That's an ADR hit and bounce. I'm in this one already. Aussie Swiss. So this is an H1 M5 entry. So M5 reversal alert there, as you can see. That's the entry there. There's the retest. The retest is actually the new spike off of the Swiss franc inflation figure. I fully expect this to undo, to be honest. This wasn't a big enough move. When you get a spike like this off the news and it's only that big on an unexpected news event, it's just a spike. Most of the time they will undo and quite often reverse, because it's not big enough news to make the market move in the opposite direction. So this is probably going to go into drawdown. But it's ADR, obviously straight off of ADR. Lovely hit there. We've got the Aussie dollar news driving it down, and then the Swiss franc obviously driving it back up again. We've got a nice support coming up on this one, which is an older level. It's not a nice support, actually. It's this high here. Although it's a weekly high from 2 weeks ago, we did accumulate around it, flop around it a little bit, then it tested it a few times. So it's an okay-ish level, but it is the high of the propulsion gap caused by the interest rate rise, or interest rate not rise rather, from the Swiss franc. So I suspect we may find a few buyers in there for a pop out today. So if it gets down to 125, if I'm assuming this ADR break is not going to hold, if this doesn't hold, look at 125, 150 for an additional, and then push back up into that propulsion gap. Euro odd. extended as well. So again, another Australian dollar. This one's already played out this morning as well. There's your reversal alert, literally just gone in. Very wiki, this one this morning. So there's your reversal, push back down into propulsion. Euro New Zealand, again, that one. I am long Euro New Zealand at the moment. Roughly around about break even. So I'm looking for this to hold. Obviously, it can pull back from ADR and then continue on up. But yeah, looking for a push up into that propulsion gap on the Euro New Zealand. But ADR reversal today, you've got the reversal alert there. There's your M. So all these ADRs, if you're taking intraday ADRs, you're looking for somewhere around about a quarter to a half ADR. So around about 30 to 60 pips. So 30 is going to be roughly there. 60 is going to be back down there somewhere. You got pound odd. So that one has come off of ADR. Reversal alert there. It's still hovering around. So all these Australian dollars, obviously, we've had the interest rate rise, which has pushed up to ADR, but there's not an awful lot of follow through on this. So these could easily just all undo. And the pound New Zealand, same thing. Reversal alert's gone in there. I'm long on the pound New Zealand as well. So happy for these to continue. This propulsion gap is where we have stalled at ADR. Nice resistance there. So this could well be somewhere where we bash into and drop back down again. Pound not looking particularly strong. New Zealand, obviously, we got the rates coming out tomorrow. So the Aussie obviously has weakened, which has dragged the New Zealand dollar down with it. So if that Aussie continues to drop today, the New Zealand will continue to drop with it and we'll find ourselves further up. And then obviously tomorrow morning, we've got the New Zealand rates. So if the New Zealand rates come out as a pause at 5.5, we'll probably get weakness off the New Zealand as well, which will give this the drive up to there. So I think there's a good chance we could be up there tomorrow. So holding on to that one on the pound New Zealand. Let's quick look at the DAX. So there's the 5-minute open. Yeah. Not the fastest thing in the world today, is it? So yeah, not a lot of movement, but we will see where we go. So that range 320, so well within a quarter of an ADR or 20% of ADR, which is what I'm using. So upside today, obviously this version of the EA basically is just targeting 2R. That's the obvious spot potentially for resistance somewhere up in these propulsion gaps. We should find some sellers because that's what started that leg down. So be looking for a run up to there. If it does break to the downside, I think we'll struggle to get there because I think we'll get pushed back by the limits at this monthly low. So if we do get a downside break, I'm going to watch it and potentially cancel those shorts out if it triggers. But we'll see where we go. Not going anywhere at the moment, are we? Dead as a door now. Quick break even on the DAX. How'd you get break even on the DAX? Hasn't gone anywhere. Oh, short. I'd say pre-market short, I suppose. You trade longer term timeframes, aka EuroCAD weekly has a triple bottom. No, I don't trade. Don't look at weekly charts at all. Daniel, morning. Peter, it happened to be 2CE twice. Placed a manual trade on GU and it went 1.5 ADR into drawdown. It closed the whole position by 0.1, 0.2 lots. I thought manual trades are not managed by anyway by EA. I don't know. Drawdown control, I think it will manage, yeah, but not the positions. I don't know, actually. Not 100% sure. It may manage your manual positions. I'm just trying to think how it's coded. I think it does, yeah. Broke long on the DAX. Morning, Abdul. The market reversal at EA, drawdown control. So what it does, if you've placed a manual, it will do drawdown control on your manual positions based on the currency, but it won't use the lot size. So if you're adding a manual, it won't take that into account, whatever lot size you've entered, into the next lot size that the EA enters, basically. You know what I mean? So if you're scaling in and you've used a lot multiplier, for example, of 1.2 or something, and you've put a 1 in, it won't take that into account as a 1.2 next. It only uses the trades that it's placed. But it closed the whole position at the time by 4 trades, did not 1 DD. Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying, Peter. Maybe it's a translation thing. But it closed whole position at the same time by 4 trades, not only 1 DD position. I don't know. Check if you've got a problem with the EA managing different trades. Check the magic numbers, stuff like that. I don't know. Can't really answer that one. I don't really understand the question. Sorry. Can't help you there. Maybe post it in Telegram or something. Right. Broken long on the DAX. Not gone anywhere though. So we just literally tapped up above that 5-minute high and we're pulling back down again. So there's not really a lot of volume on this today. So I think what I'm going to do is, if we do get a breakout this high, that really jumps. I don't know if you saw that. When that candle closed, look there. See where we open the next candle? You see that gap there? That means there's no volume in the market. There's literally no volume here. So when we're ticking up and down, because there's literally not enough traders in the market to fill the orders, you're getting basically gaps between candles, which is fairly dangerous, because if someone does place a large order, what you get is a candle that goes like that to fill the order, because it has to go and find the liquidity to fill the order, and then it will come all the way back down again. So what you do is, as you can see here, you end up getting massive wicky candles where the market is reaching for prices and then pulling back, then reaching for prices and pulling back, whipsawing. Yeah, so not a great day to be trading on the DAX. So what I will probably do is just get this out back into profit if I can, and probably just close out with a couple of $100 or something just to get out. I get the feeling this might be a whippy one today and we're not going to go anywhere. So AZ, as in it did 0.3 DD 4 times on a manual position. Pretty sure the same thing happens with my GU manual position too, but then I don't think it happened with my CAD Swiss. Don't know. That wick was for me on the DAX. What? Yeah, just to get me in. Yeah, the market knows what I'm doing, so it's obviously just trying to grab me. They're watching. They're in here, you know. Right, let's go for the RSIs. Aussie dollar CAD. So there's a lot of hourlies today. Most of these are Australian and New Zealand dollar based, because obviously we've had the news on the Australian dollar, which is why we've got the ADR hits on the Aussie pairs. So Aussie dollar CAD extended to the downside. All of these obviously are only just extended to the 70-30 levels. So they're not what I'm interested in, basically. I'm interested in getting in at 75 plus. They are getting extended, so they're good indications of, maybe there might be a nice trade opportunity coming up, but quite possibly doing something along those sorts of lines. So coming down into propulsion, we've already tried to test this level once. We're testing it again, pushing back up into there, potentially to come down. Could go either way, but that's a nice looking potential long entry. Not quite extended enough for me as yet. We are just expanding here. So we've had these 2 massive days with the Canadian dollar weakness. So as you can see, the market volatility is expanding out nicely now. We're getting bigger moves, much stronger moves. ADRs are going to start to get hit and get extended a lot further for a week or so. So everything's sort of coming to life. But normal market structure, we'd be looking for a push back up into that propulsion up there. They may well come a bit further down and test this. I'm short on this at the moment. In fact, it's not a lot of profit. Can I close that out? Are we going to get more weakness on the Aussie today? I'm going to put the TP back up to there. I'm also going to protect this with a break even. Just because this could well just do a V-shaped recovery today. That Australian dollar is a 4.1, which was an as expected result. So this could just be a knee-jerk reaction which gets undone. It could also just be a start of a move on the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar week. If that's the case, obviously I'll take profit on it. If not, I don't really want to go into drawdown on this one. I don't see this Canadian dollar being weak for long. If you look at oil, oil has dropped now 3 days on the trot, and not just dropped, ADR, huge drops. So this is the start of a pullback on oil, but new leg up. They're calling, there was some, I haven't gone for the news, have I? Go for the news in a sec. Forgot completely. There's calls for this to now trade up to $100 a barrel. Yeah, so we got to that 95-ish target. We're now looking to come back up to $100 a barrel. Another leg up, basically, is what they're calling. So we're looking for a pullback entry here on this leg. And we're out the 38 retracement now. There's a 50 retracement there, and this is the 61.8 down here. So at some point, potentially today, that's within ADR. That's only 150 ADR. So potentially today we could get that pullback completed. Then we've got oil inventories tomorrow, which could well start the next leg back up again, which will power up the Canadian dollar. If that's the case, Aussie dollar CAD is going to continue to drop. We've had negative news on the Aussie today. Canadian dollar rallying will drive the Aussie down further, and then we'll get that new leg started. Obviously, we're in this downtrend at the moment. So it's just a case of whether or not this is going to do that. So it's very close to TP. I'm very tempted just to close it out, but I'm hoping we're just going to get some sellers coming there. So not quite extended enough yet. Let me just quickly cover the news before I go for the rest of these, because it's important news overnight and I completely forgot to cover it. So Mester started talking last night at midnight. Don't know what he was doing up at midnight. Obviously in the US it wasn't midnight, it was earlier. Nothing particularly exciting came out of that. Just usual waffle, basically. We had the building approvals for the Aussie up massively, economically good, which is great. And then we had Suzuki. So this is the important bit. So just to give this a little bit of context before we go into it, looking at the US dollar yen. So we know that US dollar yen has this 150 level. Yeah, this is where the previous interventions have happened. The previous interventions happened at 145 and 150. We've had shots across the bows constantly on this, with the Japanese saying, if you keep doing it, we will keep intervening. Yesterday, the US dollar yen pushed out to new highs again. So this is yesterday, obviously. We made new highs above last month's high. Today, so far, we've made another new high, although there's a big sell-off just started on the US dollar yen. So overnight, we had Suzuki saying it's important for currencies to move in a stable manner, reflecting the fundamentals. We will make appropriate steps on FX moves with a high sense of urgency. We will stand ready to respond while closely watching the moves. Then there was something that came a bit later. Currency interventions are not targeting FX levels. So what I've been constantly saying about 150, they're saying we're not looking at 150, 145, 180, whatever. Yeah, they're not interested in levels. They're interested in volatility. Okay, so if this continues to grind, it's not good for the Japanese. If it spikes, that's what they're talking about. If you push hard, i.e. we get positive news on the US dollar this week, which rallies the US dollar, that is what's going to trigger the intervention, not the fact that it's hit 150. If you go back and look at the intervention last time, which was the 150 level, it wasn't actually the 150 level. Whoops. Just put TP, don't want TP there, I want TP down there somewhere. The intervention at 150, so this is the 150 level. Yeah, there, this orange line. If you look at where the actual intervention triggered from, it was there, which was pretty much 152. Yeah. Before the intervention happened, we had a 3-hour rally. Yeah. Which was, if you look and measure that rally there, it's 186 pips. ADR on this is 73. So what actually triggered the intervention move was a 1.5 ADR move against the yen. Yeah. At the 150 level. So you can see that bounce we had there. Yeah. They said 150 is the level. Yeah. But what they actually did was they triggered it when there was volatility. So we are currently sitting here. 150 is there. Yeah. So that level there, I'm just going to draw it. Actually, I'm going to put another line on that peak. That. I'm going to leave that at 150. Yeah, so I'm going to put one on that peak, which was 151.93, so 152. So that is where the actual intervention triggered last time. And this is where we were being told to stop it, right? So they actually moved all the way up there, which as you can see is like 3 ADR yet to go. So there is potential for this to continue a little bit further. But we're only using this because this is where it happened last time. That doesn't mean it's where it's going to happen this time, does it? It's going to happen this time when it happens. So we're waiting, but that's the interesting thing that I took out of last night's. Determined by volatility, not by level. I.e., we are going to intervene. You are peeing us off, basically. If you're not going to stop, we're just going to kill you. We're not going to tell you when, but if you push hard, that's when it's going to happen. So what they're saying is grind away and then we'll suddenly strike. If you push hard, we'll strike. So either way, they're saying we're going to strike if you do not drop this money down now. Yeah, just drop the US dollar yen is basically what they're saying. So, but this is the strongest wording we've had. It wasn't just a single statement. We are closely watching the FX markets. They said it 5 times in different ways, i.e., really, guys, stop it. So we're getting close, I think. But as for when, no idea. So TP is obviously all the way down here, which is miles away. So wait and see. But, you know, judging by previous moves, that's what we're looking at. So I'm just going to move that up. I can grab it to where we are at the 150 level. So I'm just going to measure it from 150, basically. So those are where we've had the previous interventions achieve. So that's where I'm getting out. Assuming it happens, we don't know. If it doesn't happen, what we'll do is we'll get a sell-off like that, which is just a normal market move sell-off over a couple of weeks. Either way, that's where it's going. So yeah, that was the overnight news from Japan. Then we had the Australian rates. We've had a load of ECB news this morning before and during the Swiss CPI figure. Nothing particularly exciting from Lane there. Just kind of flapping around, basically. We might not type thing with the interest rate. So nothing particularly exciting there. That was it. So I set it all up this morning, ready to cover that as first thing, and then obviously didn't. But anyway. So yeah, DAX isn't going anywhere today. We're just flip-flopping. Right, back to RSIs. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, so this is why we do not want to be longing anything against the yen at the moment, because at any second they can just go like that. And it could be today. It could be in the next hour. It could be tomorrow. It could be on Friday. It could not happen at all. But any kind of push against the Japanese at the moment will result in some kind of negative move on everything against the yen. So if you have got anything long on the US dollar yen and you do not hit target by the time that intervention comes, you will be stopped out, or you will go heavily into drawdown if you're not using a stop. If you are using a stop, you will not get your stop. You will get a trigger somewhere below your stop slippage, and it could be anything up to an ADR or 2. So if you're using 1% risk going long, yeah, that 1% stop out isn't going to be 1%. It's going to be 2 or 3%. So just bear that in mind. Even if you're using a stop loss thinking, oh, well, I've got a stop loss at break even, you won't get break even. There's no way the market will fill all the orders. When that intervention comes in, it will be millions and millions and millions of yen, billions of yen potentially in one go. Yeah, that's why that candle goes like that. Within 10, 15 minutes, you're from there all the way down to there, because there is so much volume of yen being bought up. There will not be enough volume in there to fill the orders for you. Especially if you're on a live account with a broker, yeah? Because the brokers will not fill these orders for you. They will farm them out to the dark pools, and the dark pools will get back a lot slower, and you'll get slipped a lot more. So just be careful. Yeah, I've been through it multiple times. I've experienced it multiple times, and you never get what you want. So just be warned. Aussie dollar Swiss, nice bounce. Again, Swiss franc, not sure about this one as a long, but anyway, I'm going to put a target up there just in case. I don't think we're going to achieve that, to be honest. I think this is more likely going to do something along those sorts of lines, but I will monitor this and see where we go. This is the Swiss intervention, not intervention, I've got intervention on my brain now. This is the Swiss interest rate freeze, which we're coming back to retest now. So pulling back into propulsion, we're likely to find buyers stepping in there, although there may not be as many now. We've just had the Swiss franc inflation figure drop. So this is a week against a week. So today, the Australian dollar's not increased its interest rates. The Swiss franc has had reduced inflation. So a negative against a negative makes both of these weak. So it's very hard to tell which way this one will go. One of them will be dominant. Don't know which, because they've both got weak news. Aussie dollar yen, big extension to the downside, extended beyond ADR. The EA is going to trigger me into a long on this today, so I will monitor this. As soon as I get triggered into this, I will immediately cancel the order off. So just waiting for a reversal alert. So as soon as that triggers long, I will shut it. I'm not going to bother to go into the VPS now and just turn off all the yen pairs, because I've got yen pairs being managed short. So, but yeah, not going to take that one as a long. Aussie dollar, US dollar. So big push down on this one at the moment. Obviously, US dollars absolutely woken up again for the last 2 days. This US dollars got unbelievable strength, and I don't know where it's coming from. Really don't know where the US dollar strength is coming from at the moment. We know it's rallying, but there's still nothing fundamental that gives it a massive advantage over anything else. Particularly if you look at something like the pound US dollar, if you take that 0.2, which is retail off, that's only a -5 on a scale of 14. That's not strong. It's a sell, yeah, but it's not a massive sell. So I'm not really sure what's driving this US dollar strength at the moment, considering they almost went bankrupt again at the weekend and had to shut government down. You know, these things are not going well. Things are obviously going worse everywhere else at the moment. So, so big sell-off on that one. In one long already from this morning. So that's first entry long there on the reversal alert. We've smashed straight through that monthly low. So with this Aussie US, we had a nice monthly level here, which was very supportive. We tested it again, tested through it, bounced, and now we've broken back through that level again. So it looks like we are going to continue to go down. So I'll be getting out on that pullback when the next leg comes. So very nice extension on the hourly. That's an extension to extension in 2 days. Shows you how strong that move is. Absolutely huge. So that's Aussie US. So that's a nice extension. Already got one long. CAD yen extended on the 4-hour and the hourly. So the 4-hour RSI extension looks like it's going to be a lovely 24 bounce, doesn't it? But we know what potentially is on the cards. So yeah, technically, buy it. Fundamentally, wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. So it's not quite extended enough. If you don't know what a barge pole is, you're not from the UK. It's a long stick they used to push barges along the River Thames with. Okay. I use terminology sometimes and then suddenly think there's people from all other countries in here and they haven't got a clue what a barge pole is. But it's something basically you wouldn't touch with a really long stick. That's CAD. That's what I wouldn't touch with a really long stick. Nice support coming up. Yeah, lots of technical reasons to be buying this right now, but just in case they press the button this afternoon. If you want to, you can. Obviously, yeah, do whatever the hell you like, but just letting you know that if they intervene, you ain't getting out of it with what you want. CAD yen, so that's extended on the 4 and the hourly, but not getting involved. Euro odd, nice extension to the upside on the euro. If you look at all the euro pairs at the moment, they've had a nice little rally. Not the euro Swiss, but they're starting to sort of come to life a little bit. Finally, these euro pairs, not against the US dollar either, because the US dollar's on a rally. So we are finding a little bit of strength coming through. We are very due some strength on the euro, as you can see from the New Zealand dollar and the euro odd as well. So these obviously are getting extended to the upside now because we are still in a downtrend. But this is a very, very strong move back up we've had. So it looks like it wants to continue back to the upside for a little bit now. So if you're taking any shorts on these euro pairs, obviously just don't expect them to come all the way back down. I don't think we're going to get that now. I think we've started new legs up on these euros. How long they'll last, don't know. If you look at the euro news we've got this week, it's very, very light on the ground. We've got Lagarde. That's about it. That is about it, actually, yeah. So we've just got Lagarde speaking this week, which is tomorrow. Apart from that, there is no euro news. So the euro's going to potentially get buffered around by all the other currencies that have got news coming out this week. But looking good longs at the moment, these euros. Good strength coming in. Wish the pound was doing the same thing. So that is extended on ADR, extended on RSI. So potential pushes down. Look for previous support resistance at daily and weekly levels, and look obviously for propulsion gaps where we're going to hold up. Yeah. So this propulsion gap down here is a very easy short. Yeah. There's yesterday's high. There's the propulsion gap. So if you're shorting this, look for a play back down into there and expect a bounce. We've got the euro yen as well. Same thing. Not long in it. Yeah, there's a lovely potential for a push back up into that propulsion gap if there's no intervention. If there is, it's not getting there, is there? So these are all going to be normal trades until that intervention comes, in which case then nothing is normal. So you can play it as normal, assuming that nothing will happen this week, but just don't know, do you? Euro US dollar, nice extension to the downside. We just had a reversal alert on that one. On the hourly, there was a 5-minute reverse alert this morning. So this is an H1M5 mean reversion entry. So that's my first entry on there, looking for a target back up into propulsion. There. We've just had the hourly reversal alert this morning as well. So looking potentially for a pullback and new leg up on that. The only thing that concerns me about this euro US dollar long is where we are. As you can see, got to go out to the 4-hour chart. This level, oh, you've got to go out quite a way. This level here is kind of, or this whole zone really, if you like. So all these lows here and that accumulation. Yeah, so we tapped up, broke it, support. This zone here is kind of where I would expect a bounce play to happen. We did get a bounce, and now it's broken through that level. As we've broken through that level now, here, we've got this accumulation, but then we've got a whacking great gap all the way back down into this propulsion gap, which is about 6 ADR away. So there's nothing really to support. This is kind of new territory we're going into, euro US dollar, which we haven't been in since basically this year. So this is back to February. This is January. So we're now basically at the lowest point of the year. So new low, new yearly lows basically is what we're putting in. So how far can it go this year is the question. And where are we going to find support? So it's a tricky one from a support resistance perspective for finding somewhere for this to bounce back from. But this US dollar has got to take a rest at some point. So that's the sort of move I would expect to be seeing on everything against the US dollar at the moment, but it's just not coming. So nice extension on the hourly. Again, just looking for a continuation. So you can see all the longs I've had here. It's, it's been in and out of plenty of longs. I'm in long again, getting out again when it pushes back up into there. So as long as it continues, if it wants to continue, that's fine. As long as it continues with market structure, we won't have a problem getting out of any positions. But yeah, tricky one as well, that Euro US, because there's no support there. So in that one, pound odd extended to the upside. Beautiful bounce off of resistance. That's a lovely resistance bounce. Nice M pattern forming off of resistance. That's an ADR hit as well as an H1 RSI extension. Not quite extended enough for me. Want it to go a little bit further, ideally. We'll see. Pound US, yeah, this is just not stopping. That I was convinced was the start of the retracement leg. What it's done is had the biggest down day it's had pretty much for 2 months yesterday. So this thing put in 135 pips off of an 83 ADR. So about 150, 175 ADR move yesterday. Absolutely collapsed. No news yesterday specifically. I mean, yesterday we had the news that the HS2 in the UK was potentially going to be scrapped. That's not really a reason to dump the pound. The pound yesterday, if you look across the board, held up against the New Zealand dollar, sort of held up against the Swiss, not particularly, held up against the Canadian dollar, made ground against the Australian dollar. US dollar absolutely collapsed. Yeah, this US dollar went completely mental again yesterday, although it held against the yen. So it's just not stopping, is it? It's the US dollar. So we've got no real strength at the moment in the pound, and we've got this very, very weak very, very strong US dollar move at the minute. So what I'm hoping is that this is just a run on liquidity down here at these lows. So they've enticed everybody long for 2 days there. This move is very, 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 very fast. Doesn't give anybody that's long here an opportunity to change their mind, does it? So I'm hoping today we are just going to sit deep down here and then start a leg up. News-wise today, the only thing we've got is jolts. I don't think that's going to be strong enough, even if that gets a negative number to weaken the US dollar. Tomorrow, we've got the services PMIs. Yeah. So I think tomorrow we've got an opportunity potentially for the PMI figures to move the US. If you look at what we got yesterday off of the manufacturing PMIs, we got a big positive. Yeah. And it was a proper big positive as well. It was a 1% plus increase on the PMIs from forecast. That really rallied the US. If those services PMIs come out as a negative, that can do completely the opposite. If they come as a positive, however, obviously we might see another leg in the US coming in. So, yeah, but it's stuck at the moment. Oh, that was close. Nearly triggered my short on the DAX. So, if I can get a break even on this today, job done. Nightmare. DAX is not fun this morning. Not even sure why I'm trading it, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt seeing as the banks are open. Not. Thanks for subscribing, Dave. Welcome aboard. So yeah, pound US dollar, nice extension. So on the 4 hour, that is massively extended as well. As you can see, we're back down below the 25 level. We did get that pullback, but that pullback was just a 38 retracement. Oh, it's a little bit more than that. It's probably about a 50 retracement on that last full leg. Now they're pushing down again. So we'll see what happens. We didn't get back to the 24 either. This thing's an absolute nightmare at the minute. I've never seen it push so strong, so hard. But here's what it is. New Zealand dollar yen extended to the downside. Again, I'm short on this. Why is my TP there? Let's just stick it down there somewhere. Stick it down at those lows. About 4 ADR. 260, 80, 63.20. I'll leave it at the support just in case. But yeah, so short on New Zealand dollar yen. It's getting extended on the hourly. I won't be taking a long on it, I'm short. New Zealand US, same thing. Big, strong push again yesterday. Everything getting caned. I'm long on New Zealand US dollar with one position, looking for a push back up into propulsion. So if it is going to continue, get out on a retracement, 50%. So that's a nice entry. That's a 5-minute reversal. It's just triggered this morning there. So there's the entry. There's your reversal alert, and that's retesting at the moment. US dollar CAD. So short on this one, only one position taken yesterday off of the ADR hit and RSI extension. It's embedded, look, up here at the moment. So we haven't had any weakness whatsoever on these two. Beautiful 3-bar reversal just gone in on the US dollar CAD on the hourly. So nice big strong push, pause, pull back the other way. We haven't quite got the reversal alert. So as soon as that reversal alert triggers, that shows that the sellers are in control. We should get a little flush out of that one. But again, we need a bit of oil rally. Oil at the moment still dropping. That oil rally will help the Canadian dollar. It does also help the US as well, though. That's the other thing. So that's US dollar CAD. And then US dollar yen is extended on the 4-hour. Just about, it's just coming out of extension, but I'm short on that, waiting for the Japanese to pull the trigger at some point. Morning, Gordy. Morning, Ms. Healthy FX. Sure you're not Ms. Helpy FX? Just checking. Evening from Australia, Dallas. Evening, morning, Marco. Morning, Ismet. US dollar is coming from EU weakness and USA holds highest gold reserves. What? Euro weak, Dixie goes up. Where'd you get that from? Not right. Euro strength has got nothing to do with US dollar strength. Federal Reserve is hiking interest rates to cut spending of US dollar, which contributes to US dollar strength. Zabani, you're obviously new in here, but I've been saying this for probably a year. You're a bit late, mate. They've finished. Yeah. They've been hiking rates, yeah, which has been strong for the US dollar. When they finished hiking rates, what happens to the US dollar next? A bit behind the curve there, buddy. Anyway. Right. That's all I've got for this morning. Not allowed. Oh, hello, DAX. Closing one. Break even on the second. I'm not interested this morning at all. So $300 will do me. I'm not expecting this to go crazy. You see what I mean about the slippage? Yeah. This someone's just placed some orders long. And basically you've got that massive candle because there's just no volume in the market. So this order here, whatever amount of this order was, it just eats all the orders until the order is complete. Yeah. And then this could quite easily come all the way back down again. But there's just you're not going to find enough volume in the market. So when a big boy does come along and place a big order, you get a big candle because they have to get it filled at whatever level is available to them. And that was the last sell order available to complete that order. Yeah, look at the rest of these candles. Yeah, this is just what happens when there's no volume in the market, slippage. So just be careful because it can slip back the other way just as fast. So yeah, I'm out with some profit. And I'll leave that running. This is going to trail. I think I'm trailing at 1R. Yeah, I'm trailing at 1R when it gets to 2R. Either we're going to get to there, stop's going to come up to here, and I'll take that, or this is just going to stop me out at break even. I just bank the 300. But either way, happy with that. That's lucky. That was zero skill or strategy involved there. Lucky it broke that way. Could have easily as broken the other way, couldn't it? So I'll take it. Little bit of luck. Harold, it was Lee. He has a 2 billion account running on a VPS. It was me. I have a 2. Oh, right. It was me with a 2 billion account. That'd be nice. If I had a 2 billion account, do you think I'd be sitting here? Really? If I had a 2 billion account, I'd be sitting on a beach with Richard Branson, up in Mai Tais, talking about other things. But yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? We can dream. Aussie dollar Swiss undoing the move. So the V-shaped recovery going in on the Aussie Swiss. This is, looks to be like the Aussie dollar strength to me. Is Aussie dollar undoing the move. The Swiss move is continuing. Weakness in the Swiss franc. So that Swiss franc move is continuing weak. So the fact that they their CPI figure has dropped has weakened the Swiss franc, and looks like they're trying to follow through on that move. So if you've got any Swissies short, I mean, there's nothing much you can do about it unless you're in profit on them. But I think I've got Aussie Swiss as a buy, yeah. So I think I've got New Zealand Swiss as a sell, which doesn't help. But not a lot we can do about that. So do you think the EA does DD control on manuals? I'm pretty sure it does. I'd have to check through the code, but I've got a feeling when I built it, it was one of the things that was requested for it to do DD control on manual trades. It was so long ago, but I think it was something that somebody asked for. It might say in the manual. Can't remember. Yeah, no, I'm not sure it does say in the manual. Basically, if it's closing out your manual trades, it does. There you go. So you can answer your own question. Place in a manual order, wait for it to go into drawdown, see if it closes out. I'm pretty sure it does. Because it's closed out. Yeah, it's closed out percentages of my aggressive drawdown control positions that I left on. So yeah, it does. The trouble with that EA, you know, if I said I'll go and have a look at the code, there's 50,000 plus lines of code in that EA. It's absolutely vast. The time it would take me to track down whether or not it does, you can answer the question yourself by just placing a long order with the EA on. It has to be in a trade. Otherwise, it won't be managed doing drawdown control. If it hasn't triggered a trade, it won't do drawdown control. Don't think. Yeah, pretty sure it does. Right, I'll leave it there this morning. Out of the DAX, there you go. Done. Happy with that. I'll take that. $380. That's a result. Lucky this morning, to be honest, but half of trading is luck. That looks like that was helped by the US markets. Look. So whoever placed that big order looks like it was a sector purchase because all the indices moved at the same time. So obviously with the DAX, we got a much bigger move on slippage. So that's good. Yeah, but it closed at 80% of the trade in 4 or 5 trades at the same level. I don't know, Peter. I honestly don't know. That sounds like a magic number conflict to me, or some other issue with your terminal or VPS, potentially. Or it could have been a spread thing. I don't know. I haven't got enough info, but right, I'll leave it there. I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20 for the US session. I'm going to get on with work on the start the manual basically for this EA, and I've got to do a load of testing on it today. So that's my morning done today. So no more moves on the DAX expected. It will probably get dragged along today. So you'll probably find whatever the Globex session is for New York, for the US indices, you'll probably find the DAX kind of gets pulled along with these this morning, because there's not a lot of independent trading happening on the DAX by the looks of things. So any sector purchases made across the indices will probably be what you'll see. So you'll probably see these all play out pretty much the same today. So probably just leave it this morning and come back to it this afternoon, or come back to it tomorrow rather, and we'll trade the US this afternoon. So we'll see how we get on with the US indices this afternoon. There's no news before I come back on at 2:20. So the only news we've got today is Jolts, which is at 3 o'clock. May or may not have an impact, and we'll see how we get on with the Swiss franc movement that's kicked off today. So this CAD is running against the Swiss, so it does look like they're weakening the Swiss franc off the back of the interest inflation drop, and the yen is holding. So more strength coming through on the yen this morning as well. Again, a little bit more strength, not masses, but let's see. I'd much rather just see that intervention kick in. It'd be lovely. And obviously, bear in mind, if you are using the market reverse alert CA, watch the Aussie yen. Oh, there you go. It's long. Okay, so I'm just closing that long out. So we just had the reverse alert on the Aussie yen on 5 minute. Yeah, so I'm out of that. Do not want to be long on the yen. So close that. Just watch it. I mean, if you've got the EA running, it's going to try and get back into that again, or if there's another reverse alert. So if this just pushes up, that's fine, not a problem. If it pushes down again, obviously it's going to reset the reversal alert. So it will take another trade. So just keep your eyes on the Aussie yen, because that is potentially set up to trigger as a long. All right. Anything else you need, let me know. I'll be in Telegram. Other than that, I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20 or tomorrow morning at 7:50, same time. And yeah, Peter, if you want to DM me your thing, I'll have a look at it, but I can't really tell you what's happened with that. So if you want to DM me the trades, so I can see the trades been taken. I don't know. That's one of those things that you've experienced and no one else. I can't really, unless it happens multiple times, you can't really troubleshoot things like that. Usually it's magic numbers. Euro New Zealand, just before I go, 125 ADR, still pushing. Euro's having a good run by the looks of things today. So Euro New Zealand pushing up nicely. Might get an exit on that one. 200 ADR. It's going to have to push pretty hard, isn't it? But I might. I'll have a look at it. All right, have a good one. I'll be back this afternoon, and I will see you then. Have a good day.